You're listening to the Show We Go Baseball podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into episode 37 of To the Show We Go. We have Ed Hand and myself, Andrew Parker, for this episode. And if you haven't got a chance to check out a couple of our others this week, we've had some guys in the Red Sox system come on. We've had Zach Penrod and Taylor Broadway. So if you've not checked out those, please get to doing that. Those were fantastic episodes as well. Both of those guys have cool Tommy John stories. So definitely something to listen to. Today, we have another member of the Red Sox 2023 draft class joining us. We've had quite a few so far, and today we're showing some love back to the position players of the draft class. So we have Justin Riemer on. Now, Justin, before we hop into some baseball stuff and some other things, how's your offseason been? What have you kind of been doing?
It's been great. So far, it's been really cool. I've still been down here in Fort Myers for most of it. As you guys might know, I'm still rehabbing a torn ACL that I tore back in March during my college season before I got drafted. So I've been down here rehabbing that. Been able to go home a few times for breaks, which has been nice. But it's going great. Loving it down here so far.
Speaking of that. Getting hurt this year. You got you were having an insane first 12 games, tore your ACL. Were you expecting a team to pick you as high as the Red Sox did? Because I believe they got you with the Nathan Eovaldi comp pick. So that's first 5 rounds. How did draft day go, and what were your expectations?
I was going into draft day. I had heard some things about some interest from a few different teams, including the Red Sox. Leading up to the draft, I knew that there was a chance, but I was going in there with an open mind, and a team like the Red Sox, them picking me up where they did, it was a no-brainer. So it was an exciting moment, and definitely one I won't forget.
And what was that like for you, I guess, when you did come over? And obviously you were in the middle of a rehab, so you were in a little bit of a different situation than quite a few of your draft class. I know there were some guys that also had some injuries and things, but I guess, like, what was that like for you, just being in a little different spot, couldn't really get into games in the FCL or anything like that?
It was a little upsetting not to be able to play, obviously, but it was just exciting in general to be down here, like being able to watch those games, being able to see my fellow draft class, like, start competing and start moving up. Like, it was really cool for me just to see that. And, like, I was on my own in the rehab side a little bit, and, like, I had some buddies there every so often, some of the draft guys every so often. But overall, like, it was similar to what they went through, but I was definitely excited to be able to watch them kind of progress through that whole intro stage and then to the FCL, and for a few of them to move up through some of the affiliates. It was really cool.
Now, going back in time a little bit before the draft, before you were a professional baseball player, you're from Virginia, right?
Yes.
So whereabout in Virginia did you grow up, and when did you start playing baseball? Where does your baseball journey begin?
So I was born and raised in Northern Virginia, kind of split time between McLean, Virginia and Arlington, Virginia. Really started the baseball journey young, started watching it and fell in love with it at a young age when the Nationals moved to DC when I was about 3 years old. So kind of fell in love with the game when they moved in town, and just kind of blossomed from there. I started playing probably when I was about 7 or 8. I started playing, and it was kind of, everybody knew that it was wraps after that. Everybody knew that I loved the game, so it was gonna be baseball for a long time.
And did you know at a young age that you were gonna end up at shortstop, or was that kind of one of your things growing up? You're like, I'm the shortstop on this team.
I went through a few phases where I was like, oh, I want to be a pitcher, or I maybe want to be a catcher. But honestly, since the beginning, it's kind of been like, I love the middle infield, and it's kind of been the spot ever since the beginning.
Now, you were a Nationals fan growing up?
Yes, growing up I was.
Who was your favorite player?
Ooh, that's a very tough question. I'd say from the earlier years of the Nats, the younger Nats teams, it was probably Felipe Lopez, who was a shortstop for a few years. And
yeah, I like that. I like that. He was with the Blue Jays. I think he came up with.
Yes,
I remember him.
Yes, it was I kind of just like went from shortstop to shortstop with that. So like it was Ian Desmond, and then it was Trey Turner. It was like I always just followed kind of the middle infielders as the Nats progressed, honestly, because that's just who I got to watch the most.
Yeah, not a bad selection though to have there. Those guys have all, especially. I mean, Turner's has had quite a career.
Definitely, no, it's not a bad group at all. It was really awesome growing up watching them.
I might be showing my age a little bit here, but you're 21. You're about to turn 22 in February, but I'm old enough to, and I know Ed is too, to remember when the Nationals were in Montreal.
Well, they were my dad's favorite team, the Expos. He went to college up there, and to this day has not picked up a new team since they left Montreal.
I
love
man.
that. That's a true diehard fan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He's as real as it gets with that too. I think to a ridiculous degree, but hey.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you if you even remember, because I was trying to think like when they moved, like how old you would have been. It's like you
said 3.
Probably. Okay, I was gonna say you probably obviously don't even remember when they were in Montreal. So
I don't have any personal memories,
gosh.
but I've watched them like of those games back in the day, back when like Vladdy was there and like some of those other guys, Dawson.
Oh man, makes you feel old, Ed. Makes you feel old. I want to ask about something here, and you were at Wright State, and I was kind of looking on the map because I'm like, okay, Wright State. I knew Wright State was outside of Columbus because the only reason I remember Wright State so well is because I'm pretty sure a few years back they busted a ton of brackets in college basketball. So they're like one of those schools that are like, they're upsetting like Duke or somebody in the NCAA tournament. But what got you towards Wright State, and what kind of drew you there?
So the main thing, Coach Metzger over there at Wright State, he saw me actually down here in Florida at a tournament one time, and that's where we first met and first interacted, and kind of fell in love with the school from there. I just loved everything that the baseball program was about. It was all about like grit, a bunch of hardworking guys who loved the game, who are committed to working hard, and just like that family feel and like everybody pushing towards the same goal. I felt like it was really strong there. And that was something that I just fell in love with immediately with the program.
Is that something too that there's not like a rivalry going on for like, I'm trying to think of which conference. I can't remember which conference is that they're in?
Horizon League.
Horizon. Okay. So they're not like in a big rivalry with like Dayton or like obviously not Ohio State, but
no, we do. Usually we'll play like Dayton, Xavier, Cincinnati, Ohio State, maybe Toledo, at least like once a year. We'll have those in-state games, and those are always fun, just competing in-state with those other teams.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's I feel like the Horizon League, I know for basketball, like I said earlier, like I feel like they're always getting some Cinderella teams in the postseason. So I was
they
curious
seem
about
to
like
have
other
a few
sports.
of those.
Yeah,
no,
I was curious about like
definitely
baseball and other things.
Yeah, it's the conference. I actually, that's funny that you say that, because before I got recruited by Wright State, that's the first time I heard about them too. Was I think they did. I don't remember what year it was, but I remember that like I knew that basketball was a thing. That I was like, oh yeah, I know that school. But yeah, there's definitely a few in conference rivalries, but for baseball, I mean, USC was a big one for us before they moved to Missouri Valley, and then there's a few other teams that have put together some good teams, so it does well.
So just going through your numbers, and obviously college numbers and all that doesn't necessarily mean how things are going to translate, but you make a lot of contact, and you draw walks too, though. So that tells me that you've got a pretty good understanding of the strike zone. Has your approach always been contact oriented, or how has your evolution as a hitter gone down?
I would say for the most part, I've mostly been a contact guy. I've always prided myself on putting the ball in play and trying to put the ball in play hard and trying to get on base and setting the table for my teammates. I think it's something that's always been a part of my game, but I think the last few years at Wright State, I almost developed a little bit more, where I wasn't just like hitting it just for contact, I was able to let my swing loose a little bit more, which I thought was beneficial, and being able to keep my like whiff rate down and like my K rate down, my walk rate up, while still being able to get off my swing is something that I'm pretty proud of the last like year or so at Wright State.
And I wanted to just kind of switch into once you got to the Red Sox organization. I did notice, by the way, and I do want to ask you about this as well, but you and a couple of your draft classmates were down in the Dominican together. Can you kind of like, I was curious, like what was, can you kind of like talk about like what that was like being with those guys down there?
Yeah, totally. It was an amazing experience. So it was me and a few of the guys. I'm sure you saw, like Nazan was down there because you guys know him. We went in 2 groups down to the Red Sox facility down there in the DR for a week each. And we stayed in the dorms with all the guys and trained with them every day. Like ate lunch with them, was with them all day long. And it was such a great experience being able to go down there and meet some of the guys, especially because we knew some of the guys while they were here for FCL in Fort Myers. So it was cool seeing them again. But honestly, just a great experience overall. We got to go to a Dominican Winter Ball League game, which was really, really cool. We all really enjoyed that. But yeah, overall, it was really a good experience for all of us.
How is the communication between you guys and the Dominican players there? Like, how's your Spanish? How's their English?
Personally, my Spanish is getting there. I've been working hard at it. It's been helpful to be surrounded by them a lot. I kind of like can pick up some cues, and like that's been the thing that's advanced my Spanish the most, honestly, is just like listening to conversations and like trying to have those conversations with them. And a lot of them speak pretty good English. A lot of them, it's always great because like one time I'll see one of them and they'll like speak some English to me as they're trying to learn English, and then the next time like I'll try to speak some of the Spanish that I've been learning. So it's a great relationship, and the communication, it's baseball. We all figure it out.
I asked a few guys from your class that we've had on this same question, so I'm going to ask you as well. A lot of the guys were saying that the first time they had ever met each other was like in the hallways at the hotel once you guys all got down there, right, after the draft and all you guys had signed. What was that like for you? Like, were you like, I feel like from there to now, like you seem like you guys have grown quite a bit, I guess, just throughout the year.
I completely agree. We really have. I was actually a few days later than everybody, so I was even I was later to introduce myself to everybody. I had like a doctor's appointment, I think, that I had to go to for my ACL before I reported down here. But yeah, it's been great. All the guys in my draft class, I love all of them. It's a really special group of guys that like we all work very hard and we got along very quickly. Like the chemistry between us was there right away, and overall, it's just like really such a great time with them. Like we had down here in Fort Myers, like we were around each other every day. We worked with each other, and it's just you could tell that we became pretty close pretty quick.
What are you? What kind of things? So you're still in the complex. You say earlier you're still there.
Yes.
What kind of things are you doing day to day? And I guess what is your week look like down there?
So it's Monday through Friday every week. Pretty much, I'll just be down here. I'll be with the rehab guys, our rehab coordinator Kevin, and our rehab strength guy BJ. I'll pretty much just like get my lift in. I'm starting my hitting and throwing progressions, and those are going well. So starting to feel like a baseball player again, which is nice. But yeah, I pretty much just get those done and come back here, and I don't have much else to do the rest of the day. So I'll just like do one of my hobbies or figure out something to do with the rest of my day.
What are some of your hobbies?
Depends on the day. Sometimes I'll play some video games with some of the draft class guys or some of my buddies back home. Been picking up the guitar again. I haven't done that in a while. That's starting off slow, but I'm working on it. Been practicing my Spanish whenever I get home. Been trying to. I need to get a little bit better with that. But yeah, those are some of the things I can do.
I was going to say I feel like the past two guys we've had, Taylor Broadway and Penrod, they both were talking about they were big onto the Fortnite right now because of the OG map, obviously. But even Broadway's going to be rehabbing for the next year because he just had Tommy John in October, and he's like, that's probably what I'm going to do because I'm going to be in the complex for the entire next year, just a lot of Fortnite. So kind of funny, I guess.
It seems to be a trend. It started picking up a couple months ago, like you said, and it's kind of getting this revival right now. So we all been hanging out on there a little bit.
Yeah, I mean the OG map, man, it's a blast from the past. I love it. Like I've been playing a little bit of the new COD, and it's been obviously with the Malware for 2 maps. It's like, I mean, it's like I'm in high school all over again, man. I love it. But
the combination has been definitely a throwback.
Yeah, a lot of time spent too. The fiance is not too happy about it. But all right, so other than that, I don't know if you know this answer or if it still isn't unknown to you, but you're obviously going to be rehabbing going into spring training. Are you going to have any, I guess, like restrictions or anything once spring training picks up and there's games going on?
We don't know yet. Unfortunately, we're shooting for that. That's a goal that we've kind of set in place since I first got down here. It's kind of been like, hey, let's try to be full go by spring training. Like, that's definitely what we're shooting for. And as of right now, I'm on track for it. So we're still hoping for that. And I'm still building up everything. Everything's building up the way it should be. So we're hoping that I'm full go by then.
So you were one of two comp picks this year with it was you and it was Christian Campbell. Now, do you two have a relationship? Both shortstops out of college that got taken for, I think it was Xander Bogaerts for him, Nathan Eovaldi for you. Do you guys, were you roommates? Do you talk at all?
We weren't roommates, but yes, we were. We definitely had a good relationship. I wish I was out there more with him because guys like him, I love to all the middle infielders in my class. I love just picking their brains. That's one of my favorite things to do, defensively and offensively. And he's a really good player. So I wish I was out there with him a little bit more to pick his brain a little bit more, but I'm sure I'll have the opportunity to do that more in the future. But yeah, great kid, hard worker, somebody that I'm looking forward to playing with in the future.
With another middle infielder like Nazan, who was taken as a college player, a high school player, where you guys are college players, do you see a big difference in where he is in his development versus like you or Christian?
Honestly, no, not really. Nazan is he's a special player. He's got all the tools. He's a great kid, hard worker, just like Christian. I think he's got the chance to be an amazing player. He's got all the tools for it. And I mean, kid breaks. Watched him hit a few times. Kid breaks. So no, I think he's a great baseball player.
Yeah, him and Antonio, it seemed like they were pretty inseparable once they got together. And
Antonio too. Both
of
them rake. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. I do want to ask. We've had quite a few pitchers on. I feel like now that I think about it, Ed, we're pretty pitcher dominant.
It's way more pitchers, way more relievers too.
I don't know
what
man.
that says about us, but
I don't know. The pitchers, man, they I don't know. I don't know why, but what were your thoughts, I guess, once you got around Kyle Teal? Because we've had probably a ton of pitchers on that have just absolutely talked him up a ton, and just how like on the same page they were, just not even like a start in with him. So what was I guess your reaction like once you got to the complex and you got to be around Kyle Teal?
That's what I've heard. Obviously I don't know that pitching catching relationship with him, but that's what I've heard, is that all the pitchers love him behind the plate, and I love him too. I mean, just a really easy kid to talk to. Like we bonded really quickly, really easy to talk to. Really impressive to watch. Talk about somebody who knocks cover off the ball. He's just consistently in there, and he works hard. He works hard at his craft, and that's something that I love about him. And honestly, I can say that about everybody in the draft classes. Everybody just loves working on their craft, and I think that's a very important trait to have.
All right, so I want to. So I'm gonna dive into something here, and So I don't know how I was gonna word it, but you're more of like an unknown to the system, obviously, with not appearing in a game and kind of having your last college season cut short a little bit. So if you had to describe, I guess, what kind of player, I know we talked about it a little bit with, Ed was just like, okay, like, you make a lot of contact, you draw walks, but if you had to tell Red Sox Nation, like, hey, you're going to get this kind of player when I'm healthy, what would you say?
That's a tough question. How do I summarize it? I would just say that I'm going to be somebody who's always playing their heart out there. You're going to see me all over the place. I'm going to be playing as hard as I can every single day that I'm out there, just purely because of my love for the game. Everyone's always called me scrappy, so I'll throw that in there too. A little bit of a scrappy ball player, but I'm just going to do anything that I can to help the team win. That's really all it boils down to for me.
Do you know what other player that wore a Red Sox uniform that they called scrappy a lot?
I'd assume it's Pedroia.
Yeah, it's
someone who made a lot of contact too.
Yeah,
Laser show.
I'm not saying that like that's where you're going or anything, but it's that's a good player to kind of be like calm to, right? I mean,
you're not saying it.
100%.
Yeah, but I feel like though whenever you hear 100%. Scrappy, you think of him.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. I did grow up watching him. He was around that time that I was watching a ton of baseball. I was starting to love baseball, and he's one of the players that I definitely looked up to.
Now, which program were you in at Wright State? What were you studying?
So I was a public health major with focus on getting my pre-medical certification.
Oh, wow. So you were, if the baseball stuff hadn't gone the way it did, you would have been maybe looking at medical school right now?
Yes, I'd be working on my MCAT and working on medical school right now.
What do your folks do? Do you come from a baseball family?
Not necessarily baseball. My dad was kind of like an all-sport athlete. My siblings, a lot of them played soccer. Some of them dabbled in baseball, but most of them played soccer growing up. They were all older than me, but I got a few distant relatives who were in baseball, but yeah, I was the only baseball player in my immediate family for the most part.
How many siblings?
3, all older.
I've heard that the youngest sibling always ends up being the best athlete because they're competing against the older siblings.
Be careful, they're gonna watch this and they're gonna be mad about that.
They're gonna be like, he's not that good. Come on.
No, they're gonna pull the old soccer card and how soccer athletes are better than baseball athletes, and I'll fight that till the day I die.
I mean, honestly, Ed, though, it makes a lot of sense that the younger sibling is always trying to, compete with his older siblings, and I kind of makes sense the way you just worded it. So
I mean, look at it: Pedro Martinez and Ramon Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
You have Kyle Tucker and his brother, who I think his name was Preston, that no one's ever heard of.
Well, Cole Tucker as well, yeah.
Are they related? Is Cole Tucker related to them?
I think so, yeah. We're going to go with it.
Yeah, well, it's Luke Guerrero and Vladimir Guerrero. I can keep going with these.
All right, I get what you're saying. And Cole Tucker, by the way, is with Vanessa Hudgens, so that's the only reason why I know who he is. But all right, so you're a Virginia guy. So you get in your vehicle and you're going to drive to a fast food chain that serves a amazing fried chicken sandwich. Where are you going?
It's going to be Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
Popeyes was coming in high school. I remember, I think it was like maybe my sophomore or junior year that they released their fried chicken sandwich, but after that hype went down, it was right back to Chick-fil-A.
Could I interest you in any other options? Listen, man.
What are the other options?
All right, so the correct answer, there's no wrong answers to this question, but I've asked every single person that's come on here. And the answer I was looking for was Zaxby's, which they have in Virginia.
They do. Not so much in Northern Virginia, but I have had it. I had it a few times, like going to tournaments and stuff. I would have it, and I had it again for the first time in a while when I got down here to Fort Myers. But now that you're reminding me of, I actually might change it to. I don't know if it really counts as a fried chicken sandwich, but Cane's sandwich, that might be up there for me.
Come on, man. I'm trying to get a sponsorship on the show with Zaxby's. I sent him some clips of Alex Pinellas talking it up, and he was just giving a bunch of orders that he gets from Zaxby's, and that he gets it like 30 times when he's down in the complex. So
Here, I'll just
genuine
say,
though. If you cyberbully him into saying Zaxby's is the best, Parker, it doesn't work.
yeah, I
that
just
way.
need a small clip of this. You saying that they're your go-to
Yeah.
when you're at the fort.
Zaxby's is the best chicken sandwich. There you go. Just clip that and send it to him. We're all good.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, there's
Context
one.
is irrelevant.
There's one right next to the complex down there in Fort Myers. So I know when I get down there in February, I will definitely be hitting that one up. I promise you that was it's in reality, though. We've had you're our 37th guest on, and we've had like Chick-fil-A is always the clear winner, but it's okay.
Also my pick because it is clearly the best.
I'll keep trying. It's all good.
He wants the Zaxby's partnership bad. I love it.
I do, man. It's you got to think about it though. It's only in the South. Like I think the furthest north is Virginia that it's in. So, in Columbia, Missouri, there's a few Zaxby's. That's where I always got to eat it. So,
is Zaxby's new? Because I spent like 3 months, just like all over the South, and this is like 2013, 2014. I don't think I saw a single one.
No shot. It's God's nectar of chicken. All right. So,
Clip that one too.
Yeah, there we go. All right. I do want to ask you something too, because on the whole, like fried chicken and stuff like that, I've heard about some crazy pregame routines on the show, and especially in the Red Sox system. I know you're brand new to it, but have you seen any crazy ones for example, like I know Hunter Dobbins that was in Portland this past year drank 2 large Dr. Peppers and like 8 Chick-fil-A sandwiches before it starts, and he went out and threw 7 innings and 2 earned, and it's like, how is this possible? So have you seen anything like this in your baseball career?
I've seen some interesting stuff. I haven't seen any within this organization yet. I'm sure I will see some in the future. Gosh, what are the most strange ones that I've seen? There are some people who put down some food that I can never put down before a game. I don't know if they do it consistently, but there's sometimes that people are putting down some questionable food. Not here, but in my career, I've seen people put down some questionable food. And hats off to them. I wish I could eat like that before a game, but I can't really do that unless it's like the night before or something like that.
I'm with you, man. Especially 2 whole things of Dr. Pepper and all that. I even had to message Hunter Dobbins after Grant Gambrell spilled the beans on the episode with him. He's like, you should see it, what he does. And our nutritionist even got on him in Portland. So
all the fizz, I couldn't even imagine doing that right before I put on a uniform.
Yeah, man. I can't even imagine just doing it.
I was saying yesterday when we talked about that, like I tried that back when I was playing high school tennis, and I threw up like 10 minutes later. I drank a 2-liter of Coca-Cola. Horrible idea. I don't know how Hunter does it.
All right, so
I can't even imagine.
I'm going to. All right, so on another note here, so when you got drafted into the organization, there was, since you have been drafted and entered, there's been a little bit of turnover at the top for calling the shots and everything. And do you have any thoughts and I'm sure you haven't really gotten the chance to like talk to him or anything, but do you have any just like observations from the Breslow hire or anything they're doing at the big league club?
Yeah, I haven't met him personally, but I know that his mindset and everybody's mindset in the organization is focused on the right things. It's focused on development. It's focused on putting the best people out there every day. It's focused on the community aspect of the organization. I think we're in great hands. Everything that I've heard about him, it sounds like we're in amazing hands. So I'm just really excited to see what this first year holds.
And I also wanted to add on to that as well as you haven't. So how is it down in the FCL for somebody that doesn't know, including myself? Because I know we spent a lot of time in Worcester this past year and, just kind of behind the scenes, and we got to know like the manager there, Chad Tracy. And I've heard a ton of guys talk about Chad Epperson and Iggy Suarez and Greenville. And and Liam as well in Salem. But what is it like in the complex? Like, I know there's a coach that's coaching the team for the guys that go out there, but is it mostly just like you and the trainers or the development staff down there?
Honestly, we have a lot of staff down here. We have more than we could ever need. I mean, it's amazing how much staff we have down here, and everybody is so smart about their role and really interacts with you consistently. Like the coach to player ratio is amazing down here. It's something that I noticed right away. We got John with hitting. He's like the main hitting guy down here. I love him. Fabian was helping out with some of the defense when the FCL team was down here. He's great. All of the strength people are great, but no, we have Och is another hitting guy down here, and on the pitching side, I know that all of the pitchers love all of the pitching development coaches that are down here. Like they supplied us well down here with the amount of really bright minds and just the insight and development that they provide on a daily basis is something that I've loved the day that I stepped on the complex down here.
How cool was that, by the way, the first time you ever stepped into the complex? The first, like, did you have this realization, like, oh my God, I'm a professional baseball player? Or do you think that that's going to happen more so once you're in your first pro game?
It definitely was a realization. I think so. Little story of the first day that I stepped on the complex. So like I said, I was a few days late. And I was following Ryan Ammons to the ballpark because I didn't know where to go. And I was following him, and somehow, like, it was like a 5-10 minute drive. I lost him. I don't know how. I don't know if it was coming out of the parking lot, but I immediately lost him, and I was supposed to follow him. So to the wrong parking lot at first, and I was kind of just like wandering around trying to figure out where I go, and I had no clue where I was supposed to go. And then finally, like, I texted Brad. I was like, "Yo, I got lost. How do I get there?" So I think I definitely had the moment of realization, but I think it was a little bit covered by the stress of I'm 10 minutes late because I had no clue where to go.
Oh man, were you speaking of in the complex when you got there, were you one of the Panda Express guys that Trenner told us about?
I got it a decent amount, but I don't think I was one of the guys that Trevor was talking about. But I definitely, I didn't shy away from Panda Express.
I mean, nobody should. That place is gold. But I know I spent a lot of time
I just
talking about
Panda
Zaxby,
Express.
but
It was great.
Exactly.
it was great. It's great every time.
Yeah, Trenner was telling us that there was quite a few that went there pretty frequently. I forgot who he said. But I didn't know if you were one of those guys that was frequently with them or whoever the crew was. But
I think I went with them once or twice, definitely.
Okay. So I have a one last question, and it's baseball related. So if you have anything kind of empty in the bench that you want to get to.
Yeah, I've got two. So why don't I go one, you do one, then I'll finish it up.
Works for me.
I'll go with my baseball one first. Now, you grew up a Nationals fan. So what was your impression of the Red Sox organization before you got into it?
Honestly,
had you ever been to Boston?
Yes, I had actually. I went to Fenway one time. I think I was like 7 years old. It was back in 2009. I did go to Fenway once. I fell in love with it, obviously. Who couldn't at that stadium? And I played actually just outside of Boston my first year of summer ball with the Brockton Rocks in the Futures League.
Oh, nice. Wait, were you on the team with Manny, like Manny and Pedro's and like Keith Folk's kids? I think were all on the team there.
That was the year after me. I did get to play with Pedro Martinez Jr., which was a cool experience. Great kid. Got to meet Pedro Martinez, which was an extremely surreal experience. So I was the year before all of them came, but I got to play with Pedro, and that was a lot of fun. But growing up, I mean, always one of the best teams, like always a dynasty, always known for playing the game the right way. That's kind of how I knew the Red Sox throughout my first 20 years of watching baseball.
So what I do want to just add on to that to follow up on that, but what was it like playing for the Rocks? Because they're starting to get covered quite a bit. Obviously with all the stars kids like playing there kind of gave a little light, but they're starting to be covered quite a bit now that even going forward from that year. So I guess what was that experience like?
It was great. I loved it there. It was a great group of guys. We actually, one of the development coaches, Alex Reynolds, is actually with the Red Sox now with me. He was on my team with the Brockton Rocks. So that's funny that we ended up in the same place. But it was a great experience. It was a great group of guys. Loved playing there at Campanelli, and it was great. I loved it. I loved the Futures League. Had some cool places we went to, like Burlington to play the Lake Monsters. That was always a fun one, but it was really fun. That whole summer was.
Is that Burlington, Vermont?
Yes.
Oh, wow. It's a good spot.
It was a good time. We would always, it was always an overnight trip when we went up there. So it was a good time.
I gotta do more digging into that league because I didn't know that they actually traveled all the way up to Burlington, Vermont. That's a cool place to play, man.
Yeah, it's at I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, the University of Vermont's field. Beautiful field.
Yeah, that's where the Lake Monsters play too.
Yeah, they always get a good crowd going. When I played there, the first time I played there that summer, I think that was by far the biggest crowd I had played in front of in my entire baseball career. So I have some core memories from there, but it was always a great atmosphere there. They got some good fans up there.
So I got a two-parter for you, and I'm going to start with the spring training question. So it's your first ever professional spring training. You're obviously very acquainted with the complex, though, so it's not like you're going to be like, holy cow, I haven't been here since I got drafted. But so that part's already down. You're kind of familiar with the place. And but so going into your first spring training with the Red Sox, what kind of things are you looking forward to and even being around some of the big leaguers?
Honestly, like you said, just being around some of the guys that have been in the organization for a long time that are up there in the at the different affiliates. Really excited to watch them how they work, how they go about their business every day, pick their minds whenever I can, watch the games. I'm really excited for that. And then obviously I'm very excited to compete alongside some of my friends that I've been befriending along the way, and I haven't been able to play alongside them yet. So I'm excited to compete with them as well.
And do you, I'm going to change it. I usually ask not like a goals question, but more of what kind of things are you looking to accomplish next season? And sometimes it's do they want to be a certain body weight? Do you want to be, which by the way, you're absolutely shredded. That has to be stated, man. That's it's I think Mazan or somebody shared that you were this kid's yoked or something was one of his captions. I forgot who it was. It's one of the guys that was down there with you, but it's pretty funny. But do you have any goals? Maybe not necessarily body weight, but just getting back to the field and just anything different.
I think I have a lot of those goals. I have a lot of goals, whether it's physicality or performance or on the baseball field wise. I have a lot of those goals, but through this downtime that I've had while not being able to play in games, the biggest thing that I've set a goal for myself next year is taking in the moment, just having fun every single game and realizing the opportunity that I have to go out there and play every day and just being on the field every day. It's something that I don't want to take for granted, especially my first professional season. I really want to take it all in and being down this long has put it into perspective. I feel like it does for a lot of people who have longer rehabs. So that I would say that's probably my main goal is take it all in and have fun every single day and don't take any of it for granted.
All right, Ed, take us away.
Yes, this is a non-baseball question, but you mentioned you were playing guitar earlier, and I just wanted to know favorite guitarist and favorite band.
Oh, goodness. Favorite guitarist. That's a tough
one. Or
you
can just name a few that you like. I know it's hard to. I'm terrible at narrowing things down. So if you want to just one, you don't have to. You list a few.
So a few years ago, I would have gone with a lot of different rock guitarists, but recently I'm actually going to go to a country singer, Warren Ziders. I think his acoustic guitar skills are insane. And one day, it's not going to be anytime soon, but I want to learn one of his songs. Some of them are decently complex, but I really enjoy his music. So he's definitely probably one of the best acoustic guitar players that I've heard.
Well, Justin, we appreciate all the time you've given us. You've been very generous with your time today, and we're definitely excited for you to be on the baseball field next year. So, and I know you're probably very, very ready to be back on the field. So, we'll definitely be looking out for you in spring training and once you get back on the field. But like I said, thank you so much for joining us, and we appreciate it.
No, thank you guys so much for having me on. I had a blast, and I really appreciate you guys having me on. I had a good time.